So here we have some calculations with brackets, and what we need to remember is that we always do what's in the brackets first. So for this first question, we have 2 times 35 in brackets, and we need to add 60 divided by 3 in brackets. Now 2 times 35 is 70, and 60 divided by 3 is 20. That's because 6 divided by 3 is 2, and then if we have one end zero in our dividend, we need one end zero in our quotient. So now that we know that this bracket is 70 and this bracket is 20, we can add them together to get our answer 90. Now we have 70 divided by 14 minus 4, so we need to do what's in the bracket first. 14 minus 4 is 10, so we need to work out 70 divided by 10. That's 7, so that's our answer. And notice we get a different answer if we don't do the bracket first. If we did 70 divided by 14, that would be 5, and then if we subtracted 4, that would be 1. But that would be the wrong answer because we have brackets, so we do what's in brackets first. Now we have 40 plus 40 divided by 5 in brackets. So we do the brackets first. 40 divided by 5 is 8, so we need to work out 40 plus 8, which is 48. Finally, we have 194 plus 6 in brackets, and we need to multiply that by 34 minus 4 in brackets. Now 194 plus 6 is 200, and 34 minus 4 is 30. So now that we've found our brackets, we can work out 200 times 30. That's 6,000, because 2 times 3 is 6, and then if we have 3 end zeros in a multiplication question like we do here, 1, 2, 3, we need 3 end zeros in our answer. So that's 6,000. So we've seen that when we have brackets in calculations, we always do what's written in brackets first. Now for these questions, we don't have brackets, but we do have mixed operations, and there's a special order in which we do operations. We don't work from left to right, but instead we always do multiplication or division before we do addition or subtraction. The way I remember that is that addition and subtraction are easy, and we leave the easy stuff until the end. So first, we have 20 minus 4 times 2. So we need to remember that we multiply before we subtract. So we need to work out 4 times 2 and then subtract that answer from 20. 4 times 2 is 8, and 20 minus 8 is 12. So that's our answer. And it's really important to remember that we don't do 20 minus 4 and then multiply that answer by 2. Instead, we do what's in the multiplication first, and then we do subtraction or addition. Now we have 30 plus 5 times 2. Again, we need to remember that we multiply before we add. 5 times 2 is 10, so we need to work out 30 plus 10. That's 40, so that's our answer. Now we have 60 minus 42 divided by 6. We need to remember that we divide before we subtract, so we need to work out 42 divided by 6 first. That's 7, so now we can work out 60 minus 7 to give us our answer 53. Now 80 plus 20 divided by 10. We divide before we add, and 20 divided by 10 is 2. So we need to work out 80 plus 2, that gives us 82. Now we have 9 squared minus 36 divided by 9. So here we have a squared symbol, and if we have a squared symbol or a cubed symbol, We always do that even before we do any other division or multiplication. Now remember, this squared symbol means multiply the number by itself, and 9 times 9 is 81. So we need to work out 81 minus 36 divided by 9. But we always do division before we do subtraction. 36 divided by 9 is 4, so now we have 81 minus 4, which gives us 77 as our answer. Finally, we have 8 squared plus 24 divided by 4. 8 squared means 8 times 8, and that's 64. So we have 64 plus 24 divided by 4, because we do squares or cubes first, and then we do other operations. Now we have addition and division, but remember, we leave the easy stuff to the end, so we need to work out the division first. 24 divided by 4 is 6, so now we have 64 plus 6. That gives us 70 as our answer. Now for these questions, we're dividing by a 2-digit number. But instead of using long division, what we're going to do is use factor pairs to divide. So 18 is 2 times 9, and that means what we can do is first divide 414 by 2, then take our answer and divide that by 9, and doing that will give us the answer to 414 divided by 18. So first we can divide by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, 1 divided by 2 is 0, remainder 1, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So dividing by 2 has given us 207. So now we can take that answer and divide it by the other factor pair, so divide it by 9. If we take the first 2 digits together, 20 divided by 9 is 2, remainder 2, and 27 divided by 9 is 3. So our answer is 23. Because we've divided by 2 and then by 9, we've divided by 18. Now this trick only works if we get whole numbers as our answer rather than decimals, but we can use the same thing to divide 819 by 21. 21 is 3 times 7, so first we can start by dividing 819 by 3. 8 divided by 3 is 2, remainder 2. 21 divided by 3 is exactly 7, and 9 divided by 3 is exactly 3. So dividing by 3 has given us 273. So now we can take that answer and divide it by the other factor pair. So divide it by 7. 27 divided by 7 is 3, remainder 6, and 63 divided by 7 is 9. So our answer is 39. And we could have got this answer by first dividing by 7 and then dividing by 3. You don't have to start by dividing by the smaller number in the factor pair. As long as you divide by both numbers in the factor pair, you'll get your answer. So finally, we have 1,888 divided by 32. Now 32 is 4 times 8, so we can first divide by 4. 18 divided by 4 is 4, remainder 2. 28 divided by 4 is 7, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So dividing by 4 has given us 472. So now we can take that answer and divide it by the other factor. So divide it by 8. 47 divided by 8 is 5, remainder 7, and 72 divided by 8 is 9. So our answer is 59. And again, we would have got the same answer if we'd first divided by 8 and then by 4. This trick also works when we're dividing by single-digit numbers. And this will help us to understand why using factor pairs to divide works. So, if we have 24 divided by 6, but we don't know our 6 times table, we could use the factor pairs 3 and 2 to divide. So first, we could divide 24 by 3 to get 8, and then we could take that 8 and divide it by the other factor pair, so divide it by 2 to get 4 as our answer. And we can see why this works if we show 24 blocks. First, we can divide them into 3 groups, but then we can divide each of these groups into 2, and we can see that we now have 4 blocks in each group. So dividing by 3 and then dividing by 2 is the same as dividing by 6, because 6 is 3 times 2. Now, if we have 24 divided by 8, but we don't know our 8 times table, we could use the factor pairs 4 and 2, because 4 times 2 is 8. So first, we could divide 24 by 4 to get 6, and then we could take that answer and divide it by the other factor pair, so divide it by 2 to get 3 as our answer. And again, we can see if we show 24 blocks, rather than dividing them into 8 groups straight away, we could first divide them into 4 groups to get 6 blocks in each group, but then we could divide each of our groups in 2, so divide by 2, and that gives us 3 blocks in each group. So by dividing by 4 and then dividing by 2, we've divided by 8, because you can see that we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups. Now for these questions, we need to divide by a 2-digit number. So first, we have 120 divided by 15. Now what we can do is count up in steps of 15 until we get to 120. So 15 is of course 1 times 15, but if we add another 15, we know that 30 must be 2 times 15, 45 is 3 times, 60 is 4 times, 75 is 5 times, 90 is 6 times, 105 is 7 times, and 120 is 8 times 15, which means that 120 divided by 15 must be 8. Now we have 39 divided by 13, so we can count up in steps of 13 until we get to 39. 13 is 1 times. If we add another 13, we get 26 for 2 times, and adding another 13 gives us 39 for 3 times. So, because we know that 3 times 13 is 39, we know that 39 divided by 13 must be 3. Now, 188 divided by 47. 47 is 1 times. If we add another 47, we get 94 for 2 times. Adding another 47, 141 is 3 times, and if we add another 47, we get 188 for 4 times. So, because 188 is 4 times 47, we know that 188 divided by 47 must be 4. Now we have 258 divided by 43, so we need to count up in steps of 43. 43 is 1 times, adding another 43 gives us 86 for 2 times, another 43 gives us 129 for 3 times, another 43 gives us 172 for 4 times, 215 for 5 times, and if we add another 43, we get 258 for 6 times. So, because we know that 6 times 43 is 258, we know that 258 divided by 43 must be 6. Now we could have solved this more quickly. Once we got to 3 times at 129, we could have doubled that to get 6 times. So if we add 3 times and 3 times, so add 129 plus 129, that will give us the answer to 6 times. 9 plus 9 is 18, 1 plus 2 plus 2 is 5, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So we could have got our answer more quickly if, when we'd got to 3 times, we'd doubled to find 6 times. Or we could have worked out that 10 times 43 is 430, because when you multiply a number by 10, if it's a whole number, you can just put a 0 on the end. Then we could have worked out 5 times by finding half of 10 times, so dividing 430 by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, 3 divided by 2 is 1 remainder 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So then we wouldn't have needed to work out 1, 2, 3 or 4 times, but could have counted on 43 from 5 times. Now we have 153 divided by 17, so we can count up in steps of 17 until we get to 153. 17 is 1 times. If we add another 17, we get 34 for 2 times, 51 for 3 times, 68 for 4 times, adding another 17 gives us 85 for 5 times. So now, because we're running out of space, if we take that 85, which was 5 times, and add another 17, we get 102 for 6 times, 119 for 7 times, 136 for 8 times, and finally we get 153 for 9 times. So, because we know that 9 times 17 is 153, we know that 153 divided by 17 must be 9. Now we could have worked our answer out more quickly if we'd have first worked out that 10 times 17 must be 170. Then we could have worked out 5 times 17 by finding half of 170, because 5 is half of 10. So if we divide 170 by 2, taking the first 2 digits together, 17 divided by 2 is 8 remainder 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we didn't need to work out 2, 3 or 4 times 17. But there was an even quicker method than this. If we know that 10 times 17 is 170, we can see that the number we're dividing is close to 170. Now 1 times 17 is of course 17, but if we subtract 17 from 170, that will give us the answer to 9 times 17, because if we subtract one lot of 17 from 10 17s, we get 9 17s. We can't do 0 minus 7, go to the left, 1 less 1 in front, 10 minus 7 is 3, 6 minus 1 is 5, and 1 minus nothing is 1. So we can work out straight away that 9 times 17 is 153, just by realising that 153 is 17 less than 170, so 17 less than 10 times 17. So we didn't need to do any counting in 17s at all to answer this question. Now we need to divide by a 2-digit number using long division. First, we have 645 divided by 43. So we need to work out our 43 times table. 43 is 1 times 43 And if we add another 43, we get 86, so that must be 2 times 43. Adding another 43 gives us 129 for 3 times. If we add another 43, 9 plus 3 is 12, so 1, 2, and I've written the 1 in red only so that it's easier for us to see. 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 7, 1 plus nothing is 1, so that means that 172 is 4 times 43. So if we add another 43, 2 plus 3 is 5, 7 plus 4 is 11, so 1, 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So we get 215 for 5 times 43. And we can be confident that we haven't made any mistakes with the addition, because remember, 5 times any number always ends in a 0 or a 5, and 215 ends in a 5. So now that we've calculated to 5 times, we can look back to our question. Taking the first 2 digits together, we have 64 divided by 43. So we need a number in the 43 times table that's close to 64, but not more than 64. Now 43 is the closest number to 64 that's still less than 64. So we write 43 under the 64, and because 43 is 1 times 43, we write 1 in our answer. Now we subtract and bring down. So 4 minus 3 is 1, 6 minus 4 is 2, and we can bring down the next digit, so bring down this 5. Then we have 215 divided by 43, and we can see that 215 is in the 43 times table. That's exactly 5 times 43, so we can write 5 as the last digit of our answer. So 645 divided by 43 is 15. Now we have 850 divided by 34, so we need to work out our 34 times table. 34 is obviously 1 times 34. Adding another 34 gives us 68 for 2 times. Another 34 gives us 102 for 3 times. 136 for 4 times, and 170 for 5 times. And again, we can be confident that we've got this right because 5 times ends in a 5 or a 0. So now let's look back to our question. Taking the first 2 digits together, we have 85 divided by 34. So we need to find a number in the 34 times table that's close to 85, but not more than 85. We can see that 68 is the closest number to 85 that's still less than 85. So we can write 68 under the 85, and because that's 2 times, we can write 2 in our answer line. Now we need to subtract and bring down. We can't do 5 minus 8, so go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 15 minus 8 is 7, and 7 minus 6 is 1. So now we can bring down our final digit, bring down this 0, so we have 170 divided by 34. Now 170 is exactly 5 times 34, so we know that 5 must be the last digit of our answer. Now we have 585 divided by 39. So we need to work out our 39 times table. 39 is 1 times 39. Then we get 78 for 2 times, 117 for 3 times, 156 for 4 times, and 195 for 5 times. Now the way you can work this out quickly is to spot that any times table that ends in a 9 is going to follow the same pattern as the 9 times table. So go 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 as the 1 digit. That's because 39 is 1 less than 40. So we can add 4 tens each time, but take away 1, because 39 is 1 less than 40. So now that we've worked out the 39 times table up to 5 times, we can look back to our question. If we take the first 2 digits together, we have 58 divided by 39. Now the closest number to 58 in the 39 times table, which is still less than 58, is 39. So we can write 39 under the 58, and because that's 1 times 39, we can write 1 in our answer line. Now we need to subtract and bring down. We can't do 8 minus 9, go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 18 minus 9 is 9, 4 minus 3 is 1, and we can bring down the 5, so we have 195 divided by 39. We can see that that's exactly 5 times 39, so we know that 5 must be the last digit of our answer. Now we have 4,563 divided by 13, so we can work out our 13 times table. 13 is 1 times. If we add another 13, we get 26 for 2 times, 39 for 3 times, 52 for 4 times, and 65 for 5 times. Again, we can be sure that we've calculated this correctly because we have 5 times ending in a 5 or 0. So now that we've calculated to 5 times, we can look back to our question. Taking the first 2 digits together, we have 45 divided by 13. So we need a number in the 13 times table that's close to 45, but not more than 45. We can see that 39 is the closest number to 45 that's still less than 45, so we can write the 39 under the 45, and because that's 3 times 13, we can write 3 in our answer line. Now we need to subtract and then bring down the next digit. 45 minus 39 is 6, and we can bring down the next digit, so bring down this 6, so we have 66 divided by 13. Now the closest number to 66 in the 13 times table, which is still less than 66, is 65. So we can write the 65 below the 66, and because 65 is 5 times, we can write 5 as the next digit of our answer. But now we need to subtract and bring down again. 66 minus 65 is 1, and we can bring down the 3, so we have 13 divided by 13, which is of course 1. So our answer is 351. Now, for these questions, we're dividing using long division. So first, we have 2016 divided by 36. So we can work out our 36 times table. 36 is of course 1 times 36. If we add another 36, we get 72. So that must be 2 times 36. Adding another 36 gives us 108 for 3 times. Another 36 gives us 144 for 4 times, and another 36 gives us 180 for 5 times. So now that we've calculated to 5 times, let's look back at our question. If we take the first 2 digits together, we have 20 divided by 36. But 20 is less than 36, so what we need to do here is take the first 3 digits together and divide 201 by 36. Now 180 might be the closest number to 201 in the 36 times table, which is still less than 201, but to make sure we can add another 36. That gives us 216 for 6 times, so we know that the closest number to 201, which is still less than 201, is 180. So we can write that below the 201, and because that's 5 times, we can write 5 in our answer line. Now we need to subtract and bring down. 201 minus 180 is 21, and we can bring down the 6, so we have 216 divided by 36. Now 216 is exactly 6 times 36, so we know that 6 must be the last digit of our answer. Now we have 3,384 divided by 47, so we can work out our 47 times table. 47 is 1 times 47. If we add another 47, we get 94 for 2 times. Adding another 47, we get 141 for 3 times. Another 47 gives us 188 for 4 times. And 235 for 5 times. So now that we've calculated to 5 times, let's look back at our question. If we take the first 2 digits together, we have 33 divided by 47. But 33 is less than 47, so let's take the first 3 digits together. That gives us 338 divided by 47. But 338 is a lot more than 235, so we need to continue adding 47. If we add 47 to 235, that gives us 282 for 6 times, and if we add another 47, that gives us 329 for 7 times. Now 329 is very close to 338, so we can write 329 below the 338, and because that's 7 times 47, we can write 7 in our answer line. Now we subtract and bring down. 338 minus 329 is 9, and we can bring down the 4, so we have 94 divided by 47. Now 94 is in the 47 times table. That's exactly 2 times 47, so we know that 2 must be the last digit of our answer. We have 2,242 divided by 59, so we need to work out our 59 times table. 59 is 1 times 59. If we add another 59, we get 118, so that must be 2 times 59. Adding another 59 gives us 177 for 3 times. Another 59 gives us 236 for 4 times, and then we get 295 for 5 times. So now that we've calculated to 5 times, let's look back at our question. Taking the first 2 digits together, we have 22 divided by 59, but 22 is less than 59, so let's take the first 3 digits together and divide 224 by 59. So we need a number in the 59 times table which is close to 224 but not more than 224. The closest number we have that's less than 224 is 177, because 236 would be too many. So we can write 177 below 224, and because that's 3 times 59, we can write 3 in our answer. Now we need to subtract and bring down. We can't do 4 minus 7, so go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 14 minus 7 is 7. We can't do 1 minus 7, so go to the left, 1 less, 1 in front. 11 minus 7 is 4, 1 minus 1 is 0. So now we can bring down the 2, and we have 472 divided by 59. But 472 is a lot more than even 295. But here, rather than adding 59 each time until we get to 472, what we can do is estimate our answer. So 295 is close to 300, and if we added 177 to that, we get a number close to our answer. So what we can do is take our answer to 3 times and add that to 295. So that will give us the answer to 8 times, because if we add the answer to 5 times and 3 times, we get the answer to 8 times. 5 plus 7 is 12, so 1, 2. 1 plus 9 plus 7 is 17, so 1, 7. And 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. So we know that 472 is exactly 8 times 59, which means that 8 must be the last digit of our answer. So here we didn't need to work out 6 times or 7 times. We were able to estimate and then just add the answer to 3 times to the answer to 5 times, and that gave us the answer to 8 times. Now we have 8,015 divided by 83. Now if we multiply 83 by 100, that would give us 8,300, because when we multiply a whole number by 100, we can just put 2 zeros on the end of that number. Now 8,300 is close to 8,015, so our answer will be close to 100. What we can do is subtract 8,015 from our answer to 100 times 83. We can't do 0 minus 1. We go to the left and we have a 0, so go to the left again. 1 less 1 in front, 1 less 1 in front. 10 minus 1 is 9, 9 minus 5 is 4, 2 minus 0 is 2, 8 minus 8 is 0. So what we can do now is count up in 83s until we get to 249. 83 is 1 times 83. If we add another 83, we get 166 for 2 times, and adding another 83 would give us 249 for 3 times. So when we subtracted our dividend from 8,300, we got the answer to 3 times 83. That means that our number must be the same as 97 times 83, because if you have 100 times 83 and you subtract 97 times 83, you'll get the answer to 3 times 83. So we don't need to use long division here. We know that our answer must be 97.